What it do, everybody? This your boy Slim checking in for a video. Hey man, I've been on these reactions lately, and I got another one. This one right here, I ain't gonna lie. This gonna be a 3-part reaction, man. This is the Boosie reaction, dog. This is the rap's original serial killer exposing the evil life of Boosie reaction.
TNT and Lil Fat, and once he heard about Boosie's ransom, he was eager to cash in.
That boy wanted that bad. And cashed in,
Lil Fat
did
brought
he?
Marlo Mike to Boosie's mansion. Marlo was excited to meet his idol, however Boosie wasn't there. Instead, he was able to meet Boosie's young stepper named Michael Judson, also known as Ghost. Ghost grew up one building down in Boosie's projects, but was 5 years younger. So essentially, he was raised under Boosie's wing and eventually became his enforcer. Well, now that Ghost and Marlo were connected, this was a dangerous duo, especially for $25,000. February 9th, 2009. It's a regular Monday afternoon in Baton Rouge. Nussie is at home chilling with his boy.
Blow that boy through the front room window.
Nussie's friends tell him they're hungry and they're going to the gas station to grab some food.
Blow that boy through the front room window.
Nussie doesn't want to be left at the house, so he decides to tag along with them. Together, the group of 5 get up and walk to the Exxon on Florida Street. Coincidentally, at this same time, Marlo, Mike, and Ghost are spinning around the area looking for Nussie. They know he lives in the general area, but they don't know exactly where to find him. Well, at 10:55, Ghost realizes he's running low on gas, so he pulls into the Exxon gas station. As Ghost is pumping gas, Marlo walks into the store to grab a snack. As he enters the store, he looks up and completely freezes in his tracks. He notices Nussie right there checking out at the counter. Marlo is shocked, so he walks to the back of the store staring at Nussie the entire time. Nussie looks back at Marlo a couple of times, but he doesn't recognize him. He thinks nothing.
Attention, the $6,400 health subsidy is ending and many Americans forgot to sign up. Working Americans earning
nothing of it and walks back home with his friends. Marlo drops his snacks and instantly walks to Ghost's car and tells him that he just saw Nussie. So the duo instantly hop in the car and begin following Nussie at a distance. At 11:03, Nussie and his friends arrive to his house and walk inside. As they're walking in, Marlo and Ghost bend the corner and they get out of the car. Ghost then crouches down and Marlo Mike gets on his shoulders. This way Marlo Mike can see into the living room and have a clear view of Nussie. He's able to spot Nussie sitting on the couch, and that's when he makes a wild decision.
Blow that boy through the front room
This was
window.
Major news in Baton Rouge as Nussie was a local celebrity. Everyone was curious what this was about, and most people assumed that it was Boosie. Well, once Ghost told Boosie who had done it, he was eager to meet him. So this is when Marlo Mike was first introduced to Boosie Boo.
Hey.
Marlo went to Boosie's mansion expecting
Marlo cashed in a hit before the nigga knew he was a hit man. These little niggas down here fucked up.
$25,000, but instead he was only handed $2,800. Personally, I would be pissed, but Marlo Mike didn't really care. He was raised in extreme poverty, so to him it didn't really make a difference. In his mind, he had never had this kind of money before, so everything was okay. More importantly, he was truly stargazed by Boosie and he was willing to do anything to please him. This is ultimately how Marlo Mike became Boosie's new #1 stepper. He was now a part of the family, even taking pictures with Boosie's daughter. Now with Marlo on his team, Boosie felt untouchable once again. And that takes us to April 12th, 2009. Boosie is on house arrest surrounded by family and friends at his home. Everyone is downstairs blasting music, partying, and having an overall great time.
DVD.
And as everyone is distracted, a young guy from Boosie's neighborhood creeps his way upstairs. He makes his way into Boosie's bedroom looking for items to steal. The man finds Boosie's jewelry box and begins stuffing his pockets. As he's quickly doing this, one of Boosie's friends happens to walk in his room. Boosie's homie yells downstairs and tells people to come up. So Boosie walks upstairs, sees what the man is doing, and gets furious. So Boosie and his friends drag the man downstairs and outside of the house. They then give him a good old-fashioned whooping. While this is going on, the neighbors get concerned and call 911. The police come quickly and notice Boosie standing over the man. So instantly, Boosie was booked for battery.
Again, the Sheriff's Department says local rapper Torrance Hatch better known as Lil
Little
Boosie, was arrested today on aggravated and second-degree
clip.
battery charges from a fight they say happened at his house on April the 12th. Sheriff's officials say when Boosie and a few others showed up at the house, there was some sort of a confrontation about the man stealing one of Boosie's necklaces. We're told that's when a fight broke out. Fist and possibly even a vase were used in the fight. One man was taken to the hospital with non-threatening injuries.
Now, one of the rumors goes that the thief was Marcus Thomas, also known as Gangster. The other rumor states that Marcus had snatched Boosie's chain in front of his daughter. Either way, Boosie was pissed, and Marlo Mike now had another mission.
Ain't nobody was snatching Boosie's chain at this time.
April 25th, 2009. It's a Saturday night in Baton Rouge, and Marlo and Ghost are on their mission. Specifically, they're in South Baton Rouge waiting outside of Marcus's house on West McKinley. They wait for 45 minutes until Marcus returns home in his pickup truck. Marlo and Ghost then pull alongside the truck and roll down their windows. Bang! This was a rupture in the South Baton Rouge community. Some felt like it was an overreaction to material possessions, but others understood that Boosie was not the person to steal from in the first place.
Don't cross
At this
Boosie.
point, Boosie's life is completely filled with drama, and from here it would only get worse. If you remember a man named Big Marquis, he was the one who allegedly knocked out Boosie's teeth in 2005. Well, Marquis was a feared man in Baton Rouge, similar to Marlo Mike. 4 years had passed since the incident, and the drama surrounding Big Marquis had died down. However, when you're dealing with Boosie, there's no timetable for revenge. On July 24th, 2009, Big Marquis was found in his car in the Mall City neighborhood. A man named Damian Williams, also known as TBG Short, was arrested for the incident. Short was known to be close with Boosie and can be seen in the My Brother's Keepers music video. Because of this, many people in Baton Rouge figured that Boosie was responsible. However, the witnesses would go missing before the trial, and TBG Short was released free. At this point, the Boosie side was nearly untouchable. They were running the streets and getting bolder and bolder by the day. Allegedly, of course, but this madness would continue. Now let me introduce you to a new important family in the story. In 2006, Boosie formed a relationship with a woman named Rochelle Wagner. And when I say relationship, I don't mean dating. I simply mean that she birthed his daughter Toriana in 2006. Well, Rochelle had an older stepbrother named Terry Boyd, somewhat of a famed character in the Baton Rouge streets. Terry was a reputed stepper in the Fruittown neighborhood of South Baton Rouge. He had been shot 29 times on 6 different occasions, and he also beat 6 separate murder charges.
Strawberry or nut?
Hold up. He got shot 29 times and he beat 6 bodies. Who is this nigga? The Terminator? What the fuck? I heard him say the boy, but I ain't that story about him.
Terry was extremely feared in South Baton Rouge. Well, in 2009, Terry was doing a stint at Angola State Prison with only a few months left on his sentence. During his stint, Terry received word that Boosie was giving his sister Rochelle problems. This prompted Terry to get upset and to begin badmouthing Boosie in Angola prison. One of Boosie's friends in Angola overheard the rant and decided to tell Boosie. He wrote Boosie a letter warning him that Terry said that he's gonna jack him up and slap him up when he gets home. Boosie was pissed. Boosie took this seriously, especially because Terry was coming home very soon. In fact, he was released on September 30th and paroled to his friend's house in East Baton Rouge. Terry knew it wasn't smart to parole to South Baton Rouge, so instead he paroled to his friend's suburban house. But little did he know, Boosie's mansion was just 8 minutes south. October 21st, 2009. It's a regular Wednesday afternoon at Boosie's mansion. Boosie's allegedly in the studio with Ghost and Marlo when they receive a tip about Terry Boyd's location. So Marlo and Ghost instantly hop in Ghost's Buick and drive to the location. They drive around the neighborhood looking for clues of Terry. That's when Marlo spots Terry walking into a house on Vermilion Drive. So Marlo and Ghost tell the driver Adrian Pittman to drive his car across the train tracks. This way the surveillance footage won't be able to track the license plate. Once Adrian crosses the tracks, Marlo and Ghost get out of the car and run across the street. Ghost then crouches down and Marlo gets up on his shoulders. Marlo looks inside the living room until he spots Terry Boyd. Bang! Marlo and Ghost then run back to the car and Adrian drives them back to Boosie's house. When he gets back, he's expecting $25,000, but Boosie hands him just $2,800 once again. Now personally, I'd be upset, but Boosie could do no wrong in Marlo's eyes, to the point where Marlo got a Boosie tattoo on his stomach 2 weeks later. It says, "Yo Boosie, who's next?" referring to who's next on the hit list. This is crazy. Marlo Mike was willing to do anything for Boosie, and this would continue just a couple of months later. On December 18th,
the case that almost got him banned.
Michael Smith was found on Blanche Court. We don't know much about Michael Smith, but we do know in fact that this was done by Marlo Mike. And we also know that Michael Smith happened to be in the area that Trill ENT represents. At this point, Boosie was allegedly causing major damage in the Baton Rouge streets. People were dropping left and right for all kinds of reasons. Album covers, diss songs, nicknames, threats, and you name it. How could Boosie possibly keep up a rap career with all this baggage in the streets? Big Marquis, Ivy, Finn, Pig, Nussie, Marcus Thomas, and Terry Boy. Just when you thought things couldn't possibly get messier, more drama would come. By the fall of 2009, Boosie hadn't released an album in over 3 years, so it was extremely important that his next album be great. Boosie knew this, so he spent the entire summer of 2009 on house arrest recording the album. After putting his heart and soul in the project, he sent it off to Trill ENT for mixing. Well, the highly anticipated album was released on September 15th, 2009. While listening to the official album, Boosie was pissed. He noticed 5 different verses added to the album that he never approved of. Particularly, Trill ENT's son named Lil Phat was placed on 5 different songs. At this time, Lil Phat was only 17 years old and was definitely not ready to be on a major album like this. Boosie was pissed as Trill ENT had used him to promote Mel's son. Not only was he mad at Trill, but he was also upset with Phat for not giving him a heads up. So in an interview, Boosie stated that the song Clips and Choppers would have been a hit if Lil Phat was never on it. He even dissed him on new songs as well, saying, "I hope they give your 100 years. Now this contradicts Boosie's stance that he doesn't wish jail on anyone, but I guess we have to give him a pass. Well, Lil Phat would respond with disses as well, claiming that Boosie is a rat for putting Marlo Mike's name in his music. At this point, Boosie's relationship with Trill ENT was completely ruptured. And this right here put a lot of people in a strange position. On the music side, Webby was Trill's first artist and he wasn't gonna dump them over an issue with Boosie. This is how Boosie and Webby's relationship initially split. It wasn't beef, but they just stopped talking. But the rupture with Trill also had some serious street implications. If you can remember, Marlo Mike was initially Lil Phat's friend and the muscle for Trill ENT. So Marlo had a dilemma. Does he ride with Lil Phat or...
Have you ever wondered why we are paid every 2 weeks when we work every day? With EarnIn, you can access your pay the same day that you work and get up to $100 per day with
Boosie and the beef. Boosie's his idol and the man with the money, but Lil Phat is his day one friend. Well, 2010 would be a tough year for Boosie, that's all I have to say. On January 1st, 2010, Michael Ghost Judson was found in North Baton Rouge.
Ghost dead.
Apparently, he was outside celebrating New Year's when a man with a mask approached him on North 38th. If you're unfamiliar, North Baton Rouge is mostly abandoned, so there were no cameras to track the incident. Because of this, police had no suspects in the case, but the streets began to talk. Ghost was one of Boosie's original hitters, and he had been rocking with Marlo for about a year now. So did Marlo flip on him for Trill ENT, or was this DCF? To this day, no one truly knows about the situation. Regardless, this was a major loss for Boosie, and sadly, another one would come soon. April 1st, 2010. It's an early afternoon in Baton Rouge and Boosie's friend Bleak is sitting in a car hanging out with Charles Noki Matthews. They happen to be in the Bankstown neighborhood of North Baton Rouge, far away from their original hood. They're hanging out on a dead-end road where nobody can find them, simply having peace. Well, somehow 2 men get their specific location. These would be Marlo Mike and Kendrick Johnson, who happens to be Lil Phat's brother. At 3:15 p.m., Marlo and Kendrick pull up on Montesano Avenue. They pull up alongside the car and they both roll down their window. This was the ultimate loss for Boosie, as Bleak was his best friend from day one. And for Charles Matthews, he was from the neighborhood as well, but they weren't on speaking terms.
So hold up, wait.
Finally, the streets were catching up.
So he trying to say Marlo smart? Why would Marlo smack Bleak? Boosie was already in jail when Bleak got killed. See, this is where his stories get fucked up. This nigga putting everybody on Marlo. That ain't what's up. That ain't how that went. Why would Marlo, who look up to Boosie, if Boosie is everything to Marlo, why would he kill Bleak? Boosie real right-hand man. Swamp Stories, you kind of went left with that one. Like, you really went left with that one. But I'm trying to pop my shoulders, y'all. This shit hurt like a motherfucker. I need a massage, but I'm lost at the fact that he would try to put that together. Let's see where he go with it. Let's see.
Boosie, as his side was no longer invincible. Well, BRPD had no clues for suspects, and neither did the streets. Was it Trill, DCF, or maybe it was another rumor that came out of left field? Rumors circulated that Boosie was upset with Noki for stealing from him, and that he ordered Marlo to do this. And this supposes that Marlo had no idea that Bleak was in the car with Noki. However, this rumor was never proven to be true, and it seems kind of far-fetched.
Yeah.
Either way, after this, Marlo's entire world collapsed in his head. Boosie was done with him, and Marlo was scared that he would become the next target.
That's when he turned
A month after this, Marlo Mike was arrested for a fight in South Baton Rouge. Because he was a juvenile, this was a very small charge that had little to no consequences. The most time he could get was a couple of months, and then he'd be right back home. But once he was arrested, Marlo could not think straight. Everything he had done was catching up to his conscience. While detained, Marlo experienced panic attacks and outbursts of anger. Police were stunned by his behavior on such a simple charge, so they brought him in to talk about his feelings, and this is where things get crazy. Marlo begins telling police his entire childhood story, from his broken childhood, his dirt poverty, and meeting Boosie. Marlo told police that he first met Boosie when he collected the bounty on Nussie's head. He explained to police that he didn't do it for money, but instead he did it to be appreciated by his idol. He then told them about every single body he caught for Boosie, every single one with precise detail, how much he was paid, and who he did them with. Police were shocked and had never seen anything like this before. A young man who was facing nothing, implicating himself on some very serious charges. And of course, because this information on Boosie was very important as well. Why Marlo did this? Well, he probably felt bad about everything he had done. Or according to Boosie, it's because he feared that he was his next target.
He wanted to hide in jail.
Boosie was arrested a couple days later. On June 17th, 2010, Boosie's mansion was raided and he was charged with 1 billion charges.
District Attorney Hiller Moore says it's quite possible Lil Boosie is connected to a string of murders. Police recently arrested 9 men for the deaths of 6 others. Police say Boosie is part of this web. One other name stands out. 17-year-old Michael Loudon is the only one charged with each murder.
You always have a head guy, and you find these little youngsters that you can roll by and give a couple of dollars to.
The news completely stunned the country, and especially the whole rap world. Boosie was a superstar rapper, and on top of this, the case...
Hold up, y'all. It's about to get shaky right quick.
...was horrible to hear. He instantly became a big villain in the minds of many. This was one of the biggest cases in Louisiana history, and prosecutors were certain that Boosie would never see the light again. However, for some reason, Boosie knew that the case wouldn't stick. This is because it was entirely based on one person's testimony. And if Boosie could get Marlo Mike to not testify in his case, he knew that he would be free. All he needed to do was make sure that Marlo Mike does not testify in his case. At this time, everyone accepted the fate that Boosie would never see the light again. Except for him.
No lie.
And what do you know, during Boosie's trial, Marlo Mike took back his statements. He told the court that he lied and that Boosie had never told him to do anything.